Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Mayberry, the Assistant Superintendent of Instructional Services here in Laguna Beach Unified. As we get started here, this is the Independent Study Information webinar here that we've set up to discuss related to the 2021-22 school year. As you may know, we've partnered with Orange County Department of Ed to have an independent study option for students whose health may be at risk and not comfortable attending in-person learning in our Laguna Beach Unified School District schools. I have with us a couple panelists. I have with us Dr. Betsy Canterberg, our Director of Assessment and Accountability in Laguna Beach Unified, along with Michelle Kilgore, the Principal at Pacific Coast High School, and CHEP with the Orange County Department Program, Independent Study Home-Based Learning Program. And I'm going to hand it over here to Dr. Canterberg to start us off as we talk about the process, what it'll look like, and our options, and some more information that we sent out to you later today for follow-up questions. If you have questions, you can put them in the Q&A in the Zoom, or we'll have time at the end. If we can answer them in the middle of the presentation, we will. Otherwise, we'll try to answer the best we can at the end. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mayberry. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us this afternoon. We're going to get started providing a brief overview for you of your independent study options for this coming school year. So to get started, let's take a moment to talk a little bit about what an independent study program entails. So when we look at independent study, first and foremost, this is a home-based program. It does involve a combination of live teacher interactions and independent tasks, and the varying degree to each of those is really dependent on the student's age and grade level. And most importantly, independent study programs rely on a great degree of parent and guardian engagement. Since your students will be at home with you, you will be playing a large role in their education this year. Excuse me for one moment with a screen share. Okay, there we go. So next we're going to talk a little bit about the overall purpose of independent study. As Dr. Mayberry mentioned, the purpose of the independent study this year is to provide a remote learning environment for students whose health may be compromised by returning to school campuses for in-person instruction as a result of the ongoing global pandemic. We know some parents are looking for various learning options for this year, and this is a path forward to that. We're very fortunate this year to partner with the Orange County Department of Education, who have very highly established award-winning independent study programs. For our TK through 8 students, we have the Community Home Education Program, also known as CHEP. And for our high school students, we are going to be able to offer enrollment at the Pacific Coast High School, also known as PCCHS. And it is now my pleasure to introduce to you the principal of both of these schools, Michelle Kilgore, who's going to tell you a little bit more about the structure of those programs and also the expectations for each.
All right. Hi, everybody, and thank you for having me. I'd like to just give you a brief overview of what our programs offer. So CHEP is the TK through 8th grade program, and think of it more as a homeschool program, although we'll talk about independent study because that's more of the legal term, but TK through 8th grade is very home delivery, home-based, home education. Parents, like Dr. Canterberg said, are an integral process of the delivery. The new bill, and the reason why we're having this conversation, is the new bill AB 130 is asking for anyone from TK through 3rd grade to have daily synchronous live instruction. So when you enroll in CHEP or you're looking at CHEP, a couple things happen. One, you'll have an enrollment appointment with a teacher who will go over all of your curriculum, and you'll receive a teacher edition and a student edition of all of the basic curriculum. It's all state standard curriculum. They'll walk you through how to deliver. We'll give you sample lesson plans and ideas. What's really nice is that you can alter the lesson plans for your student, any talent, any interest, any hobbies. You can work around that. There is more of a flexible day, but there really is you interacting with your student, delivering daily education and curriculum, and making sure that you are following and progressing in a successful manner. So daily, you'll have interaction, you'll have the delivery, you have a lesson plan that your credentialed teacher who you've been assigned to will be supporting and helping you with. You'll have a minimal meeting of face-to-face once a month where you'll turn in all the work will be evaluated and discussed. We'll talk about what direction we need to go in the next coming weeks. Also, we will have some classes available on campus, and that depends on COVID too. Every day is something a little bit different, but right now we have planned to have, and we normally, non-COVID year, we'll have electives on campus. We'll have some direct curriculum support, some writing classes, some math support, things like that. For junior high, we do offer some online options for courses so that they prepare for themselves for high school. For the AB 130 that I just referred to, there is daily synchronous instruction required for the TK through third grader. That means that once you have your meeting with your teacher and you're enrolled in CHEP, she will give you a live link that you will join every day at a specific time, and she'll have a delivery of a concept, an idea, maybe a special guest speaker, someone to come in and connect with you and your student with a lesson. That is going to be synchronous, and that's something that you'll participate in. Attendance will be taken for that. And then if a student misses attendance, an absence message will be sent home for that. If a student does miss more than 3 in a week, there's a process called tiered re-engagement that needs to happen that you would be involved in. The reason for this new connection and synchronous learning is really making sure that you're doing well, your student is doing well, mentally healthy, physically healthy, academically healthy. And if there are challenges, that we're able to help you right away. There are support services offered within CHEP in terms of all of those things that I've just reviewed. And we would want to make sure that we make that we make those things available to you, and we're supporting you the best we can. It is a voluntary program. Students do need to progress academically and have a successful placement in order to stay in the program. Minimally, there's that 1 month face-to-face meeting to turn in, TK through third, daily synchronous, in order to have that connection with their teachers. But like Dr. Kannenberg said, a lot of delivery, and you are your child's first teacher, and that is really the interest in CHEP that most people have. 4th through 8th grade is a little bit different. There's more of a junior high feel to it. You don't have to have a daily synchronous instruction, but you do have to have a live check-in. And again, just to make sure that you feel supported, that you feel connected, sense of community. Do you need support in any specific areas? How can we help you to keep you progressing forward? And that we're aware of any of your needs. So that for 4th through 8th grade is a daily live interaction, check in, check out, share a concept, and 1 weekly synchronous lesson. And those are what the teachers are offering right now. If you have any questions, I know I've missed a million things, but I'm happy to answer any questions. I know Chad's going to be looking for any specific questions as well, but that's really an overview of what CHEP offers for a homeschool program, homeschool support for parents and students TK through 8th grade, with the expectation of what the new AB 130 requirements are, and to make sure that we can support you to be successful. Moving on to PCHS, which is the next slide. So Pacific Coast High School has a different vibe to it, right? And there's different requirements. In the elementary and the junior high program, like I said, you have a lot of feedback, a lot of intervention. You can hone your day around your students' interests. You can alter some assignments. High school is very different. Pacific Coast High School offers 5 different programs for different tracks that your student may be on. One track may be, my student is academically and time management challenged. It's tough. High schools have been a tough road for us, and we're looking for high school graduation path, making sure that we're sound academically, that we get some good skills to be successful at community college or in vocational areas. We also have a variety of other programs that are very supportive with CTE, We have NCAA for any of our school athletes. We're A through G accredited for any students who want to go directly to the UC or the state university. We have plenty of students who go to Stanford and Berkeley and UCLA and all across the nation. Of course, they decorate their transcript nicely, right? There's some work with that, but we do have students who are participating in those things. High school, like I said, different than the elementary program. It's more of an independent study program that operates like a community college for high school students. We have courses on campus. We have clubs on campus. We're award-winning mock trial club. We have a great drama program. We have language programs and music programs on campus. Some of those things you will be attending, and you'll look at our schedule and you'll select when you want to attend those on campus. Other courses we offer specifically online, but there are support classes on campus to help you manage those. We're very semester-based, weekly assignment-based. We use Canvas as our LMS, which many community colleges and colleges use. And the LMS is the delivery, the home base of your online academics. So CTE stands for Career Technology Experience, and we have a lot of those classes to offer, looking to give students vocational experience and, you know, some popular things, forensics and cosmetology, things like that, but think of career-based. The majority of our classes, like I said, are online delivery, but we do have on-campus opportunities. COVID may change that again. If it does, we switch over to a Zoom opportunity for specific days and times. So let's say you have Spanish and you're taking Spanish 2 or 3. That might be Monday and Wednesdays from 11 to 12:15. Or you may be in drama, or you may have a science lab that you need to attend on campus. So you'll look at that and you'll arrange your schedule. Key Club, very fun. We have a coffee house that's on campus that, you know, we try to provide some social opportunities. For both programs, CHEP and PCHS, we service all 27 school districts in Orange County. So you're not coming with your neighborhood school or your neighborhood friends. You are coming to meet people from all over, and everyone's here for a different reason. So there are some nice friendships that are made among CHEP families, because when you come to campus, the moms or dads are hanging out. CHEP students get to know each other if they decide that it's okay to be social on that campus. High school, the same way. You get to meet high schoolers from different high schools and all over who have maybe actors, athletes, musicians, people who are here because of medical concerns, people who have maybe some learning challenges but are able to get through this, have maybe had some speed bumps in their high school career so far. So that's my brief overview of both CHEP and Pacific Coast High School. I know I talk fast, so if you didn't catch something, you are welcome to call me. The resource that you would look at in terms of registration, if we want to move to the next slide. We would look at the enrollment process, with which Dr. Kannenberg will talk about, that begins with your district. And then I'll jump in after that to talk about more, I would say more detail, more specific things. The enrollment process are on the websites for the Community Home Education Program and Pacific Coast High School.
Thank you so much, Ms. Kilgore. That was an amazing overview of your program. And I know as you're talking, parents' minds are probably churning. So just as Ms. Kilgore said, if you have questions that have arisen while you were listening to that overview, you're welcome to even enter those now into the Q&A, or we'll have opportunities for you later to ask questions, and we will make sure that we follow up with each of you individually so that all of your questions are answered. So before we jump into the actual enrollment process, we do want to stress that there is program flexibility between LBUSD and the OCDE Independent Study Program. Students may re-enroll in LBUSD at any point during the school year. So we know for some of you, this may not be a year-long commitment, and that is fine. If you are choosing independent study for health reasons and you feel ready to come back, we will be ready to welcome you back to in-person learning on our school campuses. And also on the opposite end, students may enroll in OCDE independent study during the school year. So students do not necessarily have to be there on the very first day of school. It is a rolling admissions process. So we want to stress that there is flexibility. So if you are interested in moving forward with the process, there are a few steps that you're going to need to take, and we are here to support you every step of the way and make sure that you have all of the resources that you need. So the first step is going to be to complete our independent study intent to enroll form. And I will be emailing that out to you this evening so that you have access to that form. And if you want to take a day or two to think about it, that's perfectly fine. When you make your decision, if you decide to move forward, you will just want to complete that form, and that form will let us know that we need to follow up with you and coach you through next steps in the process. After we receive your intent to enroll form, we will contact you and we will set up a pre-referral meeting with you. I will be in attendance, and possibly a representative from your school site may be there as well. And essentially what we're going to do is talk through your students' needs and the structure of the independent study program, as well as the various program expectations, to make sure that independent study is the right fit for your student and for your family. And if your student currently has an IEP, we will convene an IEP team meeting, again, to talk through the unique needs of your student and to make sure that this program will be able to meet their needs in this different learning environment. Once we have held our pre-referral meeting, we will decide as a team whether we believe your student should move forward into independent study for the coming year. And we will complete on our end what's called a referral form. And we will give you a copy of that form, and then we will also forward it along to OCDE. So the next steps are really in your hands as parents. What you will do is go on to the OCDE website, and I will share all of those links with you in a follow-up document, so you don't need to worry about writing anything down right now. But on the website, you will see the online application for admission. And that's something that you are going to fill out, and that will show the OCDE team that you are intending to enroll your student in either CHEP or PCCHS. And there are some amazing tutorials actually on the website. There's a virtual orientation that actually walks you through step-by-step this process. And I'll share that link with you as well. After CHEP or PCCHS receives your application, they will contact you. And the next step will be to attend a registration meeting with the school teams of CHEP or PCCHS. So during that time, they will again review the program, talk about what your child's day will look like, what the expectations are in terms of what the student needs to do on a daily basis, work completed and such, and the parent responsibilities as well. And then together you will complete what is called a written agreement, and that will be signed, and that will be your last step in the enrollment process. Following that, you will be ready to begin school. So as I mentioned before, there are some steps to take, but we are here to support you every step of the way. And I know the team at OCDE is as well. So we'll make sure that you get whatever resources or guidance that you need. So as we mentioned earlier, we're sure that you have some additional questions. So if you have those in mind right now, you're welcome to enter them into our Q&A. However, we know that sometimes those questions will come to you later on. So when you are sent your parent survey this evening, there is a section on it where you can add any remaining questions that you have. And we will make sure to get those answers for you and follow up with you individually so that you are really able to make an informed decision. We also will be sharing with you an FAQ document that essentially summarizes everything that we talked about in the webinar today, because it's definitely a lot to digest. And it will include any of the relevant links that we talked about earlier in terms of accessing some of those applications and forms online. And that concludes the informational part of our webinar today. Dr. Mayberry, are there any questions that we should address prior to wrapping up?
Thank you, Dr. Kenneberg and Ms. Kilgore. There are no more questions at this time, but I just want to recognize that, as you had said, this is really a big decision for families to be thinking about, and really a lot of unique needs that I'm sure are being processed right now and will continue to be processed, as you had said. So we've been meeting with families prior to this just to kind of answer some questions, and Dr. Kenneberg is going to be sending out more information where you can ask questions or give her a call. We really want this to be a decision that's informed and you feel like it is a good fit for your child before making it. And so we're here to answer those questions and help with that. And then it looks like it's a couple questions came in here at the end. So I'll share those with you. One question is just what's a typical day or typical week look like for some of our younger kids, a second grader, for that situation?
So I also saw one question, Dr. Mayberry, about students participating in sports at Pacific Coast High School and Laguna Beach. And the answer was, it looks like they can, but there's some CIF concerns that we would need to address before that. So yes. So I don't know that that's a guarantee. If someone's coming to Pacific Coast High School and they still think they're going to play on a Laguna Beach team, that might not work out if we need to work with CIF. So then the second grader day is really a flexible day with the content that I've talked to you about before. So you may have a morning riser, you may have a late riser, you may have a lesson plan that you will get to as you get through a busy day with a mom, but you have daily lessons that you need to get through at some point during the day. I would highly suggest, as a parent, especially if you're just trying CHEP out, that you try to keep a normal school type schedule, starting school at 8 o'clock, moving through the different content areas, making sure that you have students who are aware of what's coming up next in the day. Also, you'll be working with your CHEP teacher. You will have a synchronous lesson that day that you will need to connect with. There may be a class on campus or a field trip that you would like to take. You can incorporate the community into your schooling, and your teacher's there to help you. There's some manipulatives, there's things like that. Online, there's a lot of resources, but plan on your day, your 8 to 2:30 type day, dedicating to that live direction and live support of the academic process. We do use iReady as a good resource as well too. So you can have your student do that assessment, and then that is a very diagnostic, specific assessment for your student that would say, here's what we're working on reading, vocabulary with math, and they have the opportunity to go in and just really focus on some specific skills each day. So I hope that helped.
It's a related question that came up in here. As far as we shared them by grade spans, TK through 3, 4 through 8, and then the high school groups. How does that look like with their teacher that they work with, either daily or weekly? Are they with a group of 4th through 8th graders, or are they just with 4th graders? How does that typically look?
So right now, because school is just starting, and we tend to assign families to a credentialed teacher. So you may have a 2nd grader, and that 2nd grader may have a 6th grade sibling. We have everybody together right now and probably for the first 2 weeks, we'll continue with that. Getting to make sure that you're online, that you have access to all of the curriculum. If you have any questions, getting to know your teacher, feeling like you're a part of a class with your family. And then we'll move into separating those to the TK through 3rd group. There are teachers who may want to teach a TK lesson, and then a 1st and 2nd lesson, and then a 3rd grade lesson. There are some teachers who might combine those. There isn't a time limit based on the synchronous lessons right now. So they could be 20 minutes to 30 minutes up to an hour of part of your day. But I think daily synchronous lessons, I don't see them going an hour every day. I see them being a very specific topic. a guideline, a study skill, a support issue, a community issue, things like that as a topic. Again, making sure that we're having that connection with the teacher and the student each day.
And so I think
So
that kind of,
there might be some 4th through 8th graders together. It could vary as we go.
yeah. So I think it kind of, another question here is, will like TK and kinders be together? And I don't know if you want to answer that, but I think you kind of answered that they'll, there is some age grouping in that.
Right. And this is a new process for our programs as well. So the CHEP teachers right now are working on, like I said, we're all a group right now, TK through 8th, but we'll look at how that divides. And even their class roster, how that divides. They may only have a handful of TK through 3rd graders that they want to keep together, and they may have the majority junior high or the opposite. So teachers will be working with families and make sure that that works for them. It's meant to be a support and an encouragement.
And then there's another question here around helping, how do students connect with each other? Will we help them? Will their teacher help them in connecting? And I know I could speak on the Laguna Beach side, as we see which kids enroll into the program, and we're happy to help connect you with kids that may live close to you or live in Laguna Beach area.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe you can speak to how the teacher helps kids connect and work together, as needed with assignments or different activities.
Right. And so I can speak to the past, because CHEP has been around for 30 years, Pacific Coast High School about 26. So we have an established process. Of course, last year that changed a little bit, but we were used to having grade level cohorts who came in on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and it was a 2-grade cohort. So 1st and 2nd grade might be coming in together, 3rd and 4th might be coming in together, having an event, having a social event, having lessons in specific writing skills, having some math support. So there was some community there and some socialization. We also have a nice PTO program. So they have some social events. There's always a nice winter event. There's an art fair that we have. We try to connect with some traditional school type vibes. But then if you become a homeschooler, you're in it, there are so many social groups and a lot of support within, if you're a Pinterest mom or a Facebook mom or just local, but our staff will be able to help you too, the same way that Chad said he would be able to connect you. If we have a 3rd grade who's really interested in rockets, and I know that I have another one who, we'll connect them, and moms find moms, and like students find like students when they're doing social events on campus.
Thank you. And then I think we have a question just to kind of maybe go back over the high school. The high school, what it might look like. What are these daily live check-ins? You mentioned that earlier. You want to just kind of summarize what that looks like at the high school?
So the high school will be different, because the high school again operates like a community college. So my goal for the high school, which starts August 23rd, so we haven't started yet, would be that a student is taking a class that is on campus. My favorite schedule for high school is when a student is taking Spanish on campus, and let's say they come 10 to 11:15 for Spanish, and then they go into our computer lab and they do an hour or 2 of work. We have a food truck that comes every day at 10:30. I like them to do a class or 2 on campus during the week, spend some time on campus. We do have a lot of students who, just like a community college library, just sort of come in, sit down, grab a laptop of ours, bring their own laptop, get some work done in the computer lab, go to class, come back, finish working, meet some students. They sometimes make plans off campus. That's what happens. We would look at specific grade level, right? So everyone has to take English, math, science, social science, specifically what they need within those tracks. And then you look, is the student interested in drama? If that student is coming on campus to be social and meet people, there's some things. If that student is coming on campus just to do online because they're an athlete and they travel, and we've got that. If that student wants to do a little bit, but not quite commit because they've got a full-time job and they're also attending community college, but they want to feel like they're known on campus, we've got that. So it's hard to come up with an average day. And then that day changes as students become drivers, as they get jobs, as they attend community college concurrently. All of those things can be filtered in. The nice opportunity is attending community college concurrently, because you attend for free in your area. You just pay for your textbook, and we bring that over onto your transcript. So students have that opportunity to share that on their transcript that they took community college while in high school concurrently.
Thank you. And then there's a question here just regarding enrollment. I mean, this is more for Dr. Kannenberg, but I can just want to jump in about enrolling in PCH. That process, if you're Laguna Beach, if you live in Laguna Beach boundaries, that process starts with Laguna Beach Unified. You'll fill out that and the information that Dr. Kannenberg is going to share out after this meeting. There's an intent to enroll, and then we will start that process. But then eventually is handed over to PCHS or the CHEP team. And then let me see if there's any other questions. Is the curriculum, you mentioned this kind of with iReady, but maybe to clarify, there's different types of curriculum. Is the curriculum accomplished, or is it done online, or are there books, or they're both?
So for CHEP, TK through 8th grade, it's generally textbook delivery. So we give you the teacher editions, we give you the student editions. If there are any workbooks, those are all checked out to you. Junior high, we offer some online options for you to take, because again, we want to help them transition into high school. For Pacific Coast High School, the majority is online through Canvas. And then we will have some third party, we'll have some support textbooks, but we definitely have the majority. The hub of your school is in Canvas online.
Okay, thank you. It looks like that is all of our questions and at this time. And so I want to reiterate, these are really, really good questions. And some are very specific to your student or things you may need. And so once we wrap up here, we'll send this information out along with a way to kind of reach us and answer some of those more specific questions to help you make the best decision for your child. And again, I want to thank Ms. Kilgore and Dr. Kannenberg for your time today and sharing this. And with that, we're going to wrap it up. And thank you all again for attending this informational webinar.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you, everyone, for attending today.